Internet, and welcome to Tales of Terragia. I am your Dungeon Master and Cosmic Tour Guide, Nick Salentano, and these are 6 museum exhibits that come to life every night when a tablet is struck by lightning. Say hi, museum exhibits.
Hi!
Woo. Thanks for joining us. Before we get started, please head over to all the Tales of Terragia on the X, on the Insta, on the TikToks, on the Threads, on everything, and go ahead and follow us and like us and comment and do whatever it is that you people out on the internet do. And we love you for it. Thanks so much. Before that, or no, now that that's done, we're going to get into tonight's episode of Tales of Terragia. Woo! Last time, the second law traveled thousands of miles in the blink of an eye across the sea to the furthest country in Elverin, the Sylvan Dynasty. More specifically, using Harmony's spell scroll to land yourselves in the middle of Prismari College of Arcane Arts and Harmony's alma mater. You've spent almost 2 weeks here, each with your own experiences. Prismari is a gorgeous and massive campus, littered with arcane art projects, sculptures and displays, some more flashy and artistic forms of magic here. Even the school itself looks like a work of art, with massive swirling flames of glass that spiral around the outside of many of the towers and parapets. As guests of Harmony, you are given each a fair amount of free range of the school, though many parts are still locked off exclusively to students and faculty only, and a pair of dormitories to stay in. As Harmony's final dissertation draws closer, a few things weigh heavily on both you collectively and individually, be it mysterious visions, cries for help from faraway friends or family, warnings from those that you thought you may have left behind, or clues to something that you've been searching for. Each and every one of them just as important as the last, but first, a deadline rapidly approaches. Harmony's final presentation is set in just 2 days, on the eve of the Magister's Masquerade, an end-of-the-year celebration to those who have graduated from Prismari, with food, music, and grandiose expressions of artistic magical prowess. But until such time, what else is the Second Law up to while you're here at Prismari, thousands of miles away from anywhere that you've been before, other than Harmony, of course?
I know that quite a few people last time were sort of inundated in the library. Mm-hmm. Nik-Nak would definitely be in there quite often, but he probably would also be like hounding every professor that he can get by, tugging on their pants and being like, hey, got any sort of information about like building things, or even going up to the librarian and being like, how do you build this weapon or something? No reason. Just assuming everybody here knows.
Yeah.
What section is the anarchist cooking?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It is just as quick as Nik-Nak enters the library, he is thrown out a couple of times. Or at first he's politely asked to leave. Once or twice he is caught like kind of scurrying up bookshelves and trying to get something else. Eventually, the librarian does defer you to the Professor of Abjuration, Shamira Rashwing, a Dragonborn. Oh, no, sorry. I'm reading the wrong school. No, I'm reading the right school. Professor of Abjuration, Shamira Rashwing, a Dragonborn professor of Abjuration who may know a bit more about what you're talking about. But you also get an inkling that the librarian is just trying to keep you out.
That's fine, he didn't realize that.
But eventually, yeah, she does eventually kind of urge you, like, oh, you might want to speak with Professor Shamira. She's a bit more of that speed.
Oh, okay. Where is she?
Third tower, 18th floor.
And he runs off, not knowing where that is.
The librarian breathes a heavy sigh of release and starts like putting back all the books and picks up one and sees there's a big like bite mark out of one of the pages. Oh, start clearing things away. Anything else anyone is specifically doing or up to while here at Prismari?
I would like to. I think I may have overheard Harmony and her friend Riz maybe talking about Warlock and Patron things. So I would like to scurry into some of her homework notes and see if I can flip through anything that has reference to brown and purple eyes.
Oh, okay. Make an investigation check. Basil?
Some of this looks important. What does this say? Let's see, green and blue, purple, brown and brown, and a investigation for a 12.
12. Nothing in Harmony's notes per se kind of like leads you in that direction. You do, well, how limiting are you, how limited are you, Basil, to your research? Are you sticking just to Harmony's notes? Are you like accessing other parts of the library, or?
I would figure at least going through Harmony's notes first, and then I guess if I may have like tagged along with Nik-Nak once or twice, like going into the library, just be like poking my head if he gets kicked out, being like, "Can I jump in now? Okay, no, I can't. Okay, all right. Did Nik-Nak cause a distraction? Can I pop in now? Maybe." And then I'll just kind of see if I can every now and again, or just poke around in Harmony's notebook or stuff. Not being shy about it, probably just tossing papers around, or like maybe
My
it's just like stuff is like all over the place too.
I would have never left these out of order.
Harmony, you do come back to your little like designated workstation that you've been sort of assigned to. Every once in a while, you'll come back to it, and things are all jumbled around, mixed up. Things are either missing or books have been moved. I'm not quite sure how or why, but you could probably venture a guess.
I probably would be also like generally mostly in like the library and stuff, but I feel like knowing that kind of like, oh, my friends are also here visiting, I would be like, does anyone need help finding the other library or like the food hall or, you know, stuff like that, and like
playing tour guide.
Yeah, and if I like maybe heard Basil in the library or something, like if I was nearby, I would also like help look for stuff too.
Okay, in which case, do a roll with advantage, Basil. Give me another roll with it.
Let's try again. For a 19.
Nice.
Hey.
That's better. With again, not too much in Harmony's notes, as her research is primarily based on the Lost Woods now, and that seems to be what her entire dissertation is being sculpted around. But she already knows that you have interest in like the Fey, getting back there, and being here in Prismari and the Sylvan Dynasty, being heavily tied to the Feywild. She's able to kind of like direct you, head to this department, head to that department. You actually get to a few sections of the library that is a font of information. There's a lot of like recordings of these portals that seem to be opening and closing at random throughout the Sylvan Dynasty, and have been for as long as the Sylvan Dynasty have existed. Through no reasonable explanation, sometimes tears into the Feywild will open up and either unleash some horrendous monster, or sometimes it has ushered in a whole new race and species of people. There's a lot of documents recording that's how a lot of like fairies, dryads, faun and satyrs have kind of migrated from the Fae here. There's evidence of Herringons coming over from the Fae. There's a lot of just detailed information about how these portals could be either only one of two things: incredibly helpful or incredibly dangerous. And no one seems to be able to predict when or where they come from. In terms of the eyes, there are a couple notes reference that make... I
feel like I would be like, well, Riz wrote most of these notes. I would maybe try looking in this book. This will probably be a little more helpful than everything that he wrote down.
Oh,
I usually have to end up helping him more in Warlock class too, so, you know.
Well, thanks. Well, maybe you can help me read a little bit of it too. It'd be really nice. I'm trying to find something with brown and purple eyes. So if you or Riz find anything, that'd be really nice.
Yeah, I can keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, thanks. I had another question. like portals and things like pop up all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Has any happened in the school? He's like very just like twitchy, just like nervous and like very intently.
Inside
Like,
the school? I don't think so. I think it's usually in the when I've gone with Professor Veyron to the kind of the woods around the school, we'll sometimes do overnight trips to go try to observe the portals. But I don't think they've been happening inside the school.
Well, I don't know if it was a dream, but I think there was one in like a little like spa room or like meditation room in corridor that one and like CF I think it was. Do you know? Can we maybe check it out one time together?
Sure. Yeah. I still have a couple days. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nice. That'd be great. Maybe we can find Nik-Nak too, and he might know something. That'd be great.
Okay, let's go at lunchtime today.
Ooh.
Give me just another hour to finish up these notes.
Okay, I'll take a look at this. Then I just like open the book, probably like upside down a little bit at first. Just like, oh, yeah, okay, right.
I'll like cast comprehend languages on Basil just to be safe.
His eyes just like.
At one point, through no power or fault of your own, your eyes just like heavily dilate, and suddenly all the letters on the page seem to just like shift and change, and will like rotate and spin. Just like if it's in a different language, it will just the letter will spin around and the ink will move to the point where it is common or whatever language you prefer to read.
I have the power.
We'll get back to that. Anything else anybody else wants to do? Zakkai, Tem, Anara.
Last time I had said that I was trying to look through the map library to try and find
with Tem to the map library
to find out any information I can about that southern sea area that the weaving kind of indicated to investigate with.
Yeah. And I go with Tem. I know he knows libraries better than me, and so I ask him on my way in with him. Like, I know you have hard, difficult things to find on maps. Where would be just a map of all of Elberin, the continent? I had some information back in Cowrie that may be relevant to my search for my brother.
Oh.
And I have a name of a place, but I have no idea where it is.
Oh, yeah, well, this is certainly the right part of the library to be in.
And is this just a map of the whole
Well,
continent?
you see their catalog, and I assume I would take over to like, since if I had been here already to kind of investigate, those beautiful archival drawers that you can pull out, the folder files of just like full big drawers of, I'm sure, very old, crusty, falling apart
Behind
maps.
glass.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I would just kind of like show what I had already familiarized myself with. They have a very extensive map library here, but it's, do you have any idea of what area it might be in? Because there are specific
I
maps.
just know it is a place called Thugwater, and then another name, Stilkin Gulch, but I've not heard of either of these places.
Well, I would assume some sort of port city based on the name, but I don't know exactly. It probably in, on
So
the coast somewhere.
The coastlines.
I would say like start maybe with this one and point to like general maps.
Yeah. I'm really just like,
yeah.
where's a big map?
A0001 drawer, and it's just like the whole continent.
So
Yeah.
after I get directed there, I'll leave Tem to his own much more complicated side.
Tim, give me a investigation check, please.
Let's do this dice. It's just a 9.
In terms of Anara, your search is over pretty quickly. You're able to kind of get through the few first maps are a map of like Terragia as a whole, or at least the known parts of it. Then there's subcategories where you kind of pull out and you see that there's like a continent called Kelos, not yours. You push it away. You pull out another one, Elberin. This is yours. You kind of go through it. It has different sub maps in it. You can kind of flip through. Eventually, you do get to a map of the mainland, Elberin proper, and you do see stand out pretty large because it is a major port city, Thugwater, located in the Republic of Candor. actually surprisingly not too far northeast of where you're from, but a bit further into the Republic on the sort of northeastern edge of it.
Is there any reference on any of these maps to the other name that I heard?
Oh, Stillben Gulch?
Stillben Gulch.
Yes. Eventually you will get to that one. It's a bit further down in your research only because it is located in Abenthal, which is a relatively new country, only about 400 or 500 years old.
Oh, so that's not near Thugwater. It's a different town.
No, yes, Stillben is located in Abenthal, far to the south on the cusp of Abenthal, where it ends and the expansive Sharonzad Desert begins.
Oh, okay. So way down over there. Okay.
And you know, at least for the most part, most of you know that the Sharonzad Desert is a large stretch of desert between Abenthal and the Redlands, that sort of barbaric, horrible nightmare place where all those monsters and nefarious types.
Very nice people come from.
Very nice, very nice.
Bunny Burrow.
But right at the edge where Abenthal ends, pretty much the last point of civilization before the desert begins, is a small pinpoint on that map, scrawled in Stillben Gulch.
So almost like past here, you're going into this crazy big desert
Pretty much.
before you get to the Redlands.
It's like the very last rest stop before like the Sahara.
Okay.
And then beyond that desert are horrible wastelands where horrible monsters and people are rumored to be.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I'll try and just make for myself, like following, like watching how Harmony was doing this all the way through Lush Woods and everywhere. Just try and get a piece of parchment, and with my calligraphy, I'm trying to just sort of map out like where we are, where I assume the monastery where I trained was, in my hometown, and like where these items are. So I got a reference myself, just on a little folded piece of paper. Spend some time doing that, and then most of the rest of the time, I'm going to be finding whatever place where whatever sword work or athletic work is done. So practicing balance, practicing sword forms, sparring with Riz if he's into it.
He absolutely is, and we will get to that. Don't you worry. As for Tem, looking into that part of the Sapphire Sea, you find a lot of research about ocean life and kind of marine biology in that area. There are like legends and folk tales from sailors that would say that like, oh, there's a portal to the water plane out there because that's where there's a lot of water. So a lot of those sort of like old folk tales that have very little basis in reality other than the fact that like water plane and ocean has water.
Right.
Those are clearly tied together. They're not, but sort of that sort of level of research. However, you do... 1 second. You do come across one of those folk tales that speaks of the heart of the ocean.
Heart of the ocean. Yeah. Don't let go.
Originally discovered by a woman named Rose.
Yeah.
Rose?
Oh my gosh, it's too much.
Oh no! The multiverse is riding.
Okay, Heart of the Ocean.
The Heart of the Ocean, rumored to be basically a place that no one is able to find other than the people that have already been there, and it is where a great, powerful, like, multitude of treasures are being held, almost to keep the world safe from the power of said treasures.
A repository of some kind of, these things are too powerful, put them away.
A vault that you're not supposed to open.
Wow, another place where people can't find, just like the Lost Woods. Gonna find it. I think Tem would probably...
and below that you see like, 3 shuttles a day.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just gotta take the ferry. I think Tem, especially since he's not like a sailor, not like a nautical, person, probably wouldn't know too much about, many of the other things, but seeing that there would be some sort of like mythical / religious / historical archaeological aspect to it, just like take notes down on it. I think he would maybe try and cross-reference anything that he finds with the Mythos of Terragia book, the Memoir and Mythos of Terragia book, just seeing like what did these say versus what's here in like the quote-unquote official histories, and seeing any tidbits that line up to kind of suss out the fanciful from what might be more realistic. I guess in conjunction with that, after he kind of gets all he can from the maps, just kind of still perusing the like general stacks, or as far into whatever he can get to that's not restricted to just students, of any information about Titans, like references like, what does the card catalog say it falls under Titans here, and maybe, just taking some time out of his day to peruse and dig a little bit deeper, not necessarily expecting to find too much, especially since this is a very mysterious kind of higher level thing that they probably wouldn't just have out for anyone to see, but that's called in like the back of his mind as he's going about his research.
Just roll a d20 for me. Tell me what you get.
That's a nat 20.
Nat 20?
Wow.
Well, now I'm going to give you multiple things. In terms of the Titans, Tim, you do come across a couple of references to them, all in past tense.
Okay.
There is only 2 major references, one being that there is a city far to the north of here located in the Freelands called the Pale City. The Pale City is this massive, very kind of brutalistic form of like government that governs themselves, that have made a city out of the corpse of a massive skeleton of a dragon, which is, the skeleton of the dragon is large enough to fit an entire city within it. So it is a gargantuan sized creature, or at least was. But many believe that used to be a Titan, like perhaps once was one.
Yeah.
It was shot down during the Great Strife, the war between the Republic and the Redlands. That war lasted about 100 years, ended close to 500-600 years ago.
Okay.
That was the last known sighting of what could have been a Titan. And before that, even fewer and far between sightings of said one. There is also reference to a city located here in the dynasty called Florimore. Florimore is at least referenced in these writings, as a beautiful place filled with all kinds of exotic flora and fauna, and was rumored to be basically the birthplace of a Titan that sort of sparked this exotic, massive growth of all these beautiful plants.
I see.
But all legend and hearsay, no evidence of said Titan to be found. But that's sort of like the city's history, what it claims to be. Because like every city has like, oh, we were founded by so and so.
Right.
That city kind of prides itself being known for like, we were probably started by a Titan.
Yeah. Maybe written by the tourism board here.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. I think that Tem will tuck that information away to share later with the rest of the group.
And with a natural 20, I will say that at one point during your map perusal, you do kind of like get to a kind of loose map that seems to be recently updated of the archipelago of islands in the Freelands. And you do see that the borders of Zonir have expanded slightly.
Oh. Interesting. Does it say who, like, is there a scribe's mark of, like, who last edited this?
No. It does note that the, basically the borders of the area governed by the Loxodon Parade has expanded in recent years.
Tim's just gonna back there.
So you can expand areas. We can make Foundtown bigger.
Well, that's unfortunately not unexpected. And I guess, Tem piles away his hours in the library because he's like a pig in mud with this. It's, wasn't expecting this from a liberal arts school, but this is, it's quite extensive.
I obviously didn't hear that.
Just pass by Tim. Hi, Tim! He's like in books.
Zakkai, how are you whiling away the hours?
Speaking of Found Town, can I assume that like the first thing we did was like you need to help these people, like the people in Found Town that we left? We were like, we're gonna make sure we take care of them.
That is entirely up to you.
Yeah.
If not, Zakkai is gonna like push for whatever professor could help to help.
Yeah, I think we said that we
Yeah,
did
yeah.
want to
Yeah.
at least mention the possibility that there could be these runes that we copied, right? So is there a way that anyone could study them
Yeah.
and figure out how to...
Yeah.
We just
And
gotta make an oath.
we were all in
Yeah.
agreement, I think, when we finished of like, we'll go tell whoever would be, I guess, most
We-
appropriate.
Made it a
If there's not
point.
someone that stands out, then I would just go to Professor Veyron and say like that we made it into the Lost Woods and out, and we went to Found Town, and all these people there they're trapped there because the magic of the woods is keeping them from being able to find their way out. But we can get out with the teleportation magic. They just don't have any, and someone needs to go save them. Something like that.
There's no teleportation pearls for the
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
town.
yeah.
Give me every single one of you roll a persuasion check for me, please.
Oh.
See, how high on the priority of this school are you able to
that, didn't
get
Never
in
gonna
Found Town?
remember what my first
I'm gonna take
I
it.
know it's not. Oh, it is actually
Not
not
persuasive today.
Why
Middling.
am I proficient in that?
Can I, since presumably, all right, can I just give inspiration to the 4 lowest charisma people? I'm just like, look, okay, Professor Veyron, I have a question for you. Bring, 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 bring. Like, so it would just be, I think, yeah, probably like Zakkai and Anara. Anara for sure.
Definitely
Yeah, Nik-Nak. Basil
that a
should be
D8?
okay.
I'm cute
yeah,
and
yeah,
fluffy.
Yeah. Basil is so
It's
cute.
hard to
Look
say
at
I
him.
just
no.
like give like the puppy dog eyes.
No
like,
one can
"Just
say no
help
to those
them,
eyes and ears. Okay,
please."
10. So that's D8s.
With the 26
Yeah,
or
D8s
23
now.
at least.
How much damage does
Yeah.
she take?
All right.
Oh, that's true. And then when it's a skill check, let me see, because it does something different.
Okay.
They all do it in unison now
For
because
an
you
ability
harmonize
check.
them together.
Knowledge from a past life.
Okay,
and-
when you use the inspiration for an ability check, you can re-roll.
I hope you caught that.
You basically get advantage on the inspiration die.
14.
Okay, you can roll again and choose
Yeah.
a better one.
Yeah, you can choose which one to take.
Oh wait,
okay.
sorry. What was
No.
When you
great.
use when you use inspiration for an ability check, you can roll it twice and take the better one.
That's
Oh,
sick.
Oh,
Sick.
so I didn't
Yeah.
have to roll the
The inspiration.
The
The
inspiration.
inspiration.
Yeah.
die.
Oh.
Yeah, which is pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get like
You get
advantage on
advantage
inspiration.
inspiration?
16.
16.
That was
22.
also using some knowledge. So I was channeling one of my previous people.
Did you withhold the orcish? Or did you
I
let
was-
more an aristocrat half-life come through?
Yeah, I think this time that was more
Her most charismatic past
I
life.
was not talking in. But I was talking with a Scottish accent.
Ah, she was.
I suppose I could do it for you. Do you have any charm? Do you have any charm?
Still pretty good so far. 10.
19.
19.
21.
21.
16.
16.
23.
23. You guys are able to get Found Town pretty high on the radar of this school. Not only, you do see that it's ever so slightly a little bit kind of frustrating because when you like tell the story of these poor people's plight and they're stuck in this like magical forest, they can't get out. A lot of people are more like magical forest, you say, and less like, oh, these poor people,
Right.
and more just kind of like, oh, we can get to this magical forest full of what and
You
strange
should
things
go
and when.
study it, and while you're at it, take blankets and food.
But I'll say that through meeting with the right people and Harmony kind of like able to use the both Professor Veyron and connections here at the school are able to pass on, I'll just say, we'll hand wave it and say you pass on the information about Found Town to the right people. And they all seem to be pretty interested in it, and if not saving people of Found Town, at least going to investigate.
Cool.
Saving them as a byproduct.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like,
Whatever.
if
Just
They
gotta
save
get the
them, we
people
save
there.
them.
Whatever
Yeah.
they also want to do there.
Yeah.
I think Zakkai will probably at least once a day go like annoy whoever he thinks is like in charge of like following up on Found Town. He's just like, I'm not letting this go. But besides that, he probably will tag along to at least one of the library trips. He wants to he doesn't want to call attention to himself, so he's gonna like casually kind of browse and see if he can find any books on dispelling, like detection magic, tracking, etc.
I feel like Nik-Nak would be bothering the librarian too much for them to notice you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like he's just a major distraction for all
Yeah.
those other ones to get in.
As soon as I notice like the commotion, I'm like, okay.
Give me an investigation check with advantage.
I think it's flat, but I'm gonna check. No, +1, 16.
Okay. You do come across a few like archived and recorded types of magic that can do that. There are certain items that ward off divination magics. There are certain spells. Read a little bit about like anti-magical fields that can be created. That once you enter it, all things that are magical are nullified. There are certain spells like Lesser Restoration, Greater Restoration that can remove certain afflictions, certain things. There are things that can protect your mind from being read, and or things that can stop you from being observed or seen. All fairly like middling to high level spells, and or that come from items that are either, if not like, they vary from mythical like legendary items to like things you can feasibly like buy, but would probably be a fair amount of gold's worth.
Okay.
But you do know, at least through this research, that it exists.
Okay. Zakkai is only like half literate, so I'm gonna say that he probably like pocketed that book, like he slipped it to his bag or something, and like we'll just kind of sneak peeks like across the couple weeks so that he learns these things slowly. Otherwise, he probably just wants to get engaged with the like social scene at the school. He's probably like, where are the parties? Where are the cool people?
Give me a charisma roll and add your proficiency bonus.
Okay.
Hell
Because Zakkai is proficient in partying.
He's done this before.
It's a Riz roll.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20s. While the other nerds are off in the library, either preparing their dissertations or looking at maps or trying to like look into other
Birthday
things.
party.
I look for a map at 15 minutes, and then I'm going to work out.
Oh, okay. That's true. That's true.
Boy, he's gonna look for books and then work out.
Exactly. Different.
Just get some
You'll
cardio.
have different exercise.
It's almost surprising to you, especially the most academic people you've probably ever met in your life are Tem and Harmony, and both have been slightly more uptight than your average person.
That's fair.
Knowing that, it blows your mind how many parties and things happen at this school. You kind of like hear about from dormitories that like there are many like private dorm hosted parties in preparation for like the Magister's Masquerade coming up. People basically like instead of pre-gaming for something you're doing later that evening, they're pre-gaming throughout the week for the big thing at the end of the week. It's sort of like, how many little parties can we manage to squeeze in before the big one? And they seem to, at least from what you heard, and maybe even attended if you want to, they seem to be getting wilder and larger kind of as you go. I will say at one point, if only through just sort of like hearing and listening and kind of like figuring this stuff out, at one point Riz, Harmony's friend, does kind of swoop in and just to ask, so like, what school do you go to?
I don't.
All right, I like that. So like, how do you know how to do the things that you do?
Oh, I don't know. It's just like I just feel it, and it happens, I guess. What about you? I mean, you've got a lot of airy stuff going on. I just assumed it was similar.
A little column A, column B. A lot of stuff I do learn here, and other stuff just kind of comes natural, and he kind of like waves his hand, and a little gust of wind kind of like whips up, and kind of like blows a stack of papers off of one of the librarian's desks.
But,
That stuff comes natural.
I haven't like really formally trained any kind of magic. I don't think I really need that. But it's cool that you're studying this warlock stuff. Are you having a good time with that?
Yeah, I mean, sure. It's sort of like a not an obligation, just a lot of expectation from my family to kind of get into that. But also went into it hoping to learn more stuff about me. I don't want to get too deep or whatever, but you know, I've only known half of my life, it feels like, the whole time I was growing up, and I missed a whole big other half, and I feel like that half has the good parts. So I'm just trying to track down the good parts. You know, the stuff where, you know, I can do this, and he kind of like whips his hand and throws an Eldritch Blast, and it blasts the head off of a statue and crumbles to the ground. And then you see one of like the janitorial staff kind of like huffs and then starts casting mending. He's like, I can do that. That I learned how to do here. But then he kind of like waves his other hand, and another stack of paper blows off another stack of desks, and the janitor just kind of looks over and like slowly starts climbing down the ladder after he's done with the head of the statue and walks across and starts picking up the papers. But Riz kind of like pays no mind, if at all, but just sort of leans on his hands. And I feel like there's more to that, you know. I can do more than make a breeze. I like to think you can like make whole things. What Harmony has told me, it sounds like you have a way with the land.
Got a few tricks up my sleeve.
I want to learn my own tricks, I guess.
Huh? Are they teaching you about the elemental stuff here?
They got some stuff like that, but not a lot of people know too much about like just raw elemental control. You probably know that.
I haven't met a lot of people.
Are there a lot of Janazi where you come from?
Every once in a while.
Hmm.
I mean, I'm not really close to any though. It's always just.
Well, I mean, like you,
Kinda.
your family and stuff.
Oh.
You're a Janazi, right?
I grew up with my mom. I don't think she's a Janazi or anything.
Well,
But
he leans in and
I assume because
puts a hand behind your ear, and you like feel a faint like finger around the back of your ear, and he kind of like pulls it back, and then just does this, and a bunch of just like dust and sand comes off. Yeah, you're a Janazi, bud.
well, okay, so
I mean, I was just curious because you know that's weirdly the half of my family that I'm kind of missing. The air Janazi part.
well wherever I get that from, no one I've ever met either, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I thought I was, and you know maybe I still am. I don't want to like be like tied down by that, defined or anything by like where I came from. It would just be nice to know, you know.
In my opinion, if it's meant for you, it's meant for you. If not, whatever. If my dad or whatever it is, whoever, if they didn't want to stick around, I don't care enough to chase. Sorry, not to get into my own business.
No, it's whatever. I mean, I'm kind of likened to that mindset.
But
mean,
I mean, not to talk down what you're going for. I mean, it makes sense.
So there is a party over past the Opus Walk Gardens tonight. If you wanted to go.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, let's do it.
I was gonna invite Harmony, but last time I tried to interrupt her dissertation work, she hit me with something. So I'm gonna invite one of her cool friends.
Does not shock me. It's actually kind of surprising that you two are so close. I mean, she's very studious, a little uptight.
Oh, you have no idea.
And you're very...
How long have you known her already?
A couple weeks.
Okay, we've been schoolmates for about 3 years. Harmony is a lot, and she is also a lot of the best.
Yeah.
And she has always been the best, and she covers for me, I cover for her. Well, you make a pretty good team.
Yeah, I like her a lot. She's actually surprisingly. I think she's kind of loosening up a little bit.
I wish I could believe that. I've tried to loosen that screw for 3 years, and I think I've managed to get her to a couple of parties.
Well,
one time she was out past curfew, but it was only because she didn't know. And I told her what time it was.
Did she freak out?
I couldn't hear. She cast silence on me every day for a week, and I couldn't talk or hear anything. And so it was kind of a bummer. But you know, she look. I was just happy that she went. But speaking of, how about the rest of you? How about Bunny Boy, Little Lizard, Elephant Guy, Scary Sword Girl?
like, would they want to come?
Yeah.
Maybe. They're a little less uptight, so it's a better chance. We should still invite Harmony. She might need a little bit of a night out. She's been studying too hard.
All right. Hey, if you want to get between her and her dissertation, that is on you.
I'll take the blow, don't worry.
Speaking of Scary Sword Girl, I gotta meet your friend outside. We're supposed to like make each other bleed or something, and he kind of like draws his sword and starts heading
Each other bleed or something.
Have fun.
Anara,
Yes.
as much as you'd like to, because you have been here for a few weeks, and we've sort of been freeballing here what's going on and when. Certainly at some point, Riz does take you up on a sparring match, and you kind of go outside. Again, Prismari is a massive campus, and you go to an area that seems to be delegated more for mage duels. There's not a lot.
So there's not a lot of martial training stuff here.
Little to none, it seems.
Because I guess I haven't had to do a lot of scholarly stuff. I did want, I think I mentioned it last time, to spend some of the time copying everything, the diagram and everything about the philosophy of the hexagonum into the library as a contribution, because they didn't seem to have anything on it.
Which is welcomed.
Yes. No. Yeah. You said so. That's cool. So other than that time and the time I spent with Tem, just being pointed to the basics of a map, knowing that they exist but not really knowing much more, having not seen one of the whole continent before. Other than that, I would be focused on making sure I kept myself in sharp, for fighting, practicing with my bow, balance, that kind of stuff. More practice with sling, the blind sight thing.
Yeah.
So just training basically in whatever area they have, even if it's mostly for magical stuff. I'll just find a little area and set up a target, shoot a bunch of arrows into it, and then pick them out. And then...
Here, shoot this apple up my head.
Riz you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I'll shoot the apple.
Make an attack roll.
God. Get those ears down. It's like a field goal right between. Yeah.
It's not a very good roll, but I'm pretty good with both. That is a 12.
12?
Yeah.
You do see that in any other day, in any other group, in any other situation, you might have been a bit more at ease and confident in this, but for the first time, you're now aiming your bow as a very real weapon at a friend and a comrade, and...
Yeah, I want to err on the side of if I miss above. Not below.
Yeah, I'm definitely not at the target. It's the target's up here, bullseye's up here, I'm down
if
here.
If I miss, it's going to be, I'm trying not to.
It's you just hit only bullseye, and we're but the
But
apple!
if I accidentally go underneath the arrow but between his ears, I'm going to pretend I meant to.
I will say that you do kind of fire and just err on the side of caution, so it does kind of straight up slightly. And you see that sort of. Actually, hold on.
I'm not playing your games. I'm aiming for targets, not apples.
Kind of like leaning on the sidelines, Riz kind of like watches, and as you kind of like let the arrow fly, he sort of lets out like a high pitched whistle, and casts levitate on the apple, which rises. The arrow pins it to the wall behind you, and he immediately stands and falls like
Never in
at-
doubt.
Awesome.
That's weird. That was unexpected.
Did doubt me for a
Yeah,
second.
Basil.
Nice shot.
Probably best that we just do this with a piece of wood or something. I don't want to hurt
Oh, okay. They're all just kind of like,
Yeah, that's no spot. Immediately, Riz kind of joins in with like the over-exaggerated like pout, like come on, yeah, we are gonna dry it like an orange next.
you. Dangerous weapons. I don't want to hurt anyone.
That's fair. Well, you can hurt me if you want, or
Okay.
you can try.
How about you try hurting me first?
All right. She kind of like immediately whips the sword out and makes an attack strike against you.
Okay.
That is a 26 to hit.
I am going to use deflect attacks, so he can roll his damage.
1d8. That is 7 slashing damage.
So I negate 14 points.
what?
So I reduce it to 0, and then I use a focus point to redirect the energy right back at him.
Nice.
So he's within 5 feet.
Hell yeah.
So
Please tell me how this goes.
So he must make a DC 15 Dex saving throw.
Sick.
The 4 off that?
14.
That misses.
Hey, so he just fails.
Can I pull the damage though? I don't want to make this lethal.
Yeah.
You're like, and decapitated.
So I want this to be more.
I'm not going to that party.
Yeah.
I got you.
So it's 6 points. So
6
take
points?
6 points of damage.
So he like
Yeah,
does.
so it's
swipe
like he
the
does the
sword out.
thing, he swings, and he's absolutely certain he hits, but somehow I just kind of like duck my head down, and the sword goes like right down, comes down my arm, and then I flip it up, and it kind of like flips out of his hand, and then clonks him on the head on the way back. Good
Yeah, like-
attack. I like it.
Stands there like.
That was good. I usually don't need to.
Do it again, do it again, do it again!
The weapon is right there.
He kind of like holds his hand out, and the sword kind of like rises out. To
Rubbing
his-
it
You
in.
can't do that.
Oh yeah. Gotta learn how to do a lot of cool stuff. Are we like limited to just swords?
Well, I mean, you said you wanted to spar. If you have other things you want to attack with, then you know I won't be as good at defending against that. I'm more of a martial skills than magic, if that's what you mean.
Cool, because I'm great at that. And he launches an Eldritch Blast. Quite blank at you. He doesn't seem to be pulling as much as you are.
Sounds good.
That is. He gets +6 to his spells. That is a 19 to hit with an Eldritch Blast.
Do I still have a reaction, or does this count as a new round now, since we did the whole thing?
It would be a new round, technically.
Okay. Oh, I can't use it against that, I don't think. Hold on. I have that. If I have my sword out, though, can I have used the dodge, since I made an unarmed attack with the reaction,
Mm-hmm.
can I have agile parry, which increases my arm class by 2?
Yeah, sure.
So it misses by 1,
Alright.
but it's
Nice.
close.
And he does it, and his Eldritch Blast comes in a form of it's almost like an incredible like cannon of focused air with a sort of like strange greenish pink kind of swirl that kind of goes with it, and it just kind of goes back, and your hair blows back like straight back. And
Very good.
even after it kind of drifts, there's still part of your hair that is sticking
Yeah.
out. A little bit. You just went
I
through.
don't know how to reflect those ones. It's much harder.
That's the cool thing about air You can't touch it, but it can touch you.
Let's see. And then I'll jump forward and do an unarmed strike.
Yeah, well, hit.
That's 25.
Damn.
That hits. And he can't do anything to increase his armor class that high.
That's 13 points of bludgeoning damage.
Jeez.
Non-lethal.
You immediately
down
spin
a peg.
around.
You're not quite done. Flurry of blows.
Amazing.
Do you wanted this new mark? This is what you get.
One of them, that probably is going to miss. One of them is a 13 to hit.
Misses.
And then the other one is going to hit. That's a 22.
Yes, definitely hits.
And
Hits.
then another 6 points of bludgeoning damage. So like just...
He does sort of like stumble
Your
back
turn.
a little bit. All right. Yeah. Cool. You're real fast. But I can maybe use that against you.
Wait, is this a psychological attack or something?
Something like that. And his eyes kind of like flash green for a moment. Make a wisdom saving throw, please. As he uses Fey presence on you.
I don't have any idea what that does, but it sounds fun. Wisdom saving throw. 7.
Ooh.
That is a failure. You are charmed. So for the moment, while
Wait, you mean double charm?
double charmed, and while charmed,
does
a bit
Just flirting.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
flirting all the time. All the time with every
incapacitated in the
interaction.
sense that there's like his eyes flash
Yeah.
for a moment. Everyone else just see his eyes kind of like do a faint little like.
Yeah. I'm like,
You
oh.
see like deer in headlights,
Yeah.
with bright white lights, and it just sort of stuns and blurs. Your vision goes white and all blurred for a moment, and you all just sort of like watch Anara just kind of like teeter on her feet a little bit as Riz kind of like twirls his sword, like walks in a little circle around her, looks her up and down, looking for any weaknesses, and he's like, "Oh, right there," and he makes a slash against you with advantage as you're incapacitated.
Are we all watching this?
Dirty 20
Is this
hits.
I don't have any. Oh wait, agile power. I'm still holding my blade.
Oh yes.
So even though I don't know, can I do that? If I'm incapacitated, can I actually do anything?
Can't take actions or reactions.
Okay, so then. Oh no, it's not a reaction. It's just because I'm holding my.
That's true. It's just
blade.
your armor class.
It's just
is
my
higher.
armor class goes up to 21.
That's fair.
When I'm holding it in.
So he goes to like swipe at you, but his kind of like cocky circle gave his position away. You may not be able to to see, but you can hear just enough. So you kind of
I
like
just lean forward and it
yeah,
goes
and the
over.
blade goes like right over your head.
Spidey senses just whoop.
How long do I stay incapacitated for?
Just until the end of the turn.
End of his turn.
Mm-hmm.
Like I spin around and go, okay, that's not fair.
It's
But good. I can imagine that being super helpful.
got me out of a couple sticky situations.
I can imagine. More? Or are we done?
I mean, we could call it even. We're equally matched. Clearly, not one is better than the other. He's really kind of like rolls his hand at you.
Do I have my reaction back now?
Yes, you
Kick
I
his
know it's
butt.
kind of a bit loosey goosey with the turn, so I don't want to overuse
can. No, absolutely.
stuff. Just tell me if I can't do stuff.
He kind of throws his hands up almost in feigning giving up before maybe reaching out his
Feigning
hand,
we're done.
snapping his fingers
Not
together.
really.
Pulling you out of the incapacitation, and everything drops and snaps into focus as he snaps his fingers and tells you, or you can just give up, and he's going to cast suggestion on you.
He learned that from me.
This is supposed to be sparring. Okay, what's that? Wisdom saving throw?
Yes.
Come on. 17.
17. That succeeds.
I don't think I will. Another unarmed strike.
Bonk him in the head.
Please roll to hit.
That's cocked.
That's cocked.
22.
22 hits.
Again, I'm pulling it, so it's not non-lethal. 10 points of bludgeoning damage. We'll call it almost even. And then
Tell me when you're done.
patient defense.
He like steps back. He's like stumbles back a little bit. Himself now dazed.
And then it's just like, as he's stepping back, I just ready?
Ooh, Nora!
He's like gonna like look over to whoever's watching. And he's like, "Is my nose still there? Because it really feels like she just completely knocked it off."
It's gone.
It's bleeding quite a lot.
I figured as much.
And I call over. He's very good with the magic, not so much with the physical stuff.
Hey, you might have a point, but
It's good. It's
it's
good.
a good point.
Let's heal you up. And Tam, is Tam around?
Yeah, if I'm around. Okay, all right. Let's calm down. Calm down,
Yeah,
everyone.
they said, yeah.
It's getting a little dirty there. All right. I'll just.
Why did that actually crack?
Why did I actually cry?
Oh, you don't have to do that trick. It's your thumb or your teeth.
Oh.
I really was like, ouch.
Yeah.
Did you just
Wow.
break
Yeah,
your nose
so
and
for
put
you
it back
kids
into
at
the
home.
position? That freaked me out.
I'll just healing word him across the way.
I would come walking out. What happened? I thought we were just meeting for lunch.
I won, homie. Don't worry about it.
Frank got his ass kicked.
You know, that's good for him sometimes.
She broke his nose.
Try to find Anara. It's a dumb idea.
No, he's good. He has these eyes. They're very, very hard to not look into. And
I agree.
And for a second there, I thought he was going to hit me.
It's a joke.
And that blast of, I've seen you do something similar, Basil. It,
My little
that
caning.
one came very close, so I had some luck. We'll call it even.
A draw.
Sounds
You know
good.
what? I like that. I like
Sounds
that's still undefeated, technically.
You know, sometimes we used to have suggestion contests, and we would try to see who could make the other person do something more embarrassing.
Yeah.
I was not wanting to give up at all, but I nearly did. I felt myself wanting to.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I taught him everything he knows.
What was
For
the most
that,
embarrassing thing you made Riz do?
Yeah.
Do
We
his
could
do his
just-
homework on time. Sit in the front row with me.
Yeah.
It's,
For a barrel of laughs.
I'll pick my bow up and do some more practice. Anytime, Riz.
I'll hit you back when I can stop seeing double. But definitely be a rematch. Is there anything else anyone wanted to do?
While we're here too, I'm sure at some point I would have pulled Harmony aside and been like, we should probably return those books we borrowed from Port Elsewhere. Do you think that we could use the post here to send them back?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
The librarian.
Because
here
we
will
said
definitely
we
do
said
that
we
for
would.
us.
We said we
Oh,
would
yeah,
send them
yeah,
back,
yeah,
and we
yeah.
were gonna send them back. So,
And
yeah.
I'm pretty much done touching up my dissertation. So yeah, let's go do that right now.
Great. Yeah. So we would either through the library, if they have a way to send it back, or whatever postal service to ship them back to.
When is your big presentation, Harmony? Is it tomorrow? The day after?
Is it what? 2 days? The next tomorrow, basically.
I mean, we've been doing stuff.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
sort of like the free reign of the week.
2 days!
It's tomorrow.
When you are ready
Yeah,
for
yeah,
tomorrow,
yeah,
it will
yeah.
be tomorrow.
Are you
It's
all
coming
ready?
up tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, I've reviewed it 5 times and practiced it 4 times. So, I mean, that's I could do a few more, but it's probably fine.
You seem
I think
very
it's pretty
prepared.
Yeah,
I think.
I'm feeling pretty confident.
We're going to talk
Yeah.
perhaps as a group before just on the possibility that we might use it as an opportunity to seek information about if any of the professors here may have heard of the Nest or Titans, or have you put some stuff in the presentation that will
Well,
pique their interest?
I mean, I mentioned it because I was gonna turn in the diagram we have
Okay.
because there's no description on it or anything. It
Do they
seems
ask
pretty-
questions? Is it like an exam?
Yeah, are you gonna sing
So
again?
you're
Is
going
that
to-
how it works?
Ooh, more singing,
Oh.
more singing.
How does it
Yeah,
work?
more of that.
This is a
I
battle of
could-
wits, like I had just this battle of.
They must have some way
Well,
of
it's more-
evaluating.
It's more just a presentation, and I show them what I brought back, what I'm contributing.
Is it in front of an audience?
No, it's just the professors,
We can't
the head
be- we can't
professors.
be there?
Is there a
to
balcony,
support
a
you.
little gallery that we can watch from?
Maybe.
Unless
I don't
that's
know
too
how
much
it would
pressure.
be set up. Like, I would assume I would know.
Is it in
Yeah,
the
is it like
theater?
a public,
Yeah.
public presentation, or is it like in an
I'm assuming it's not like
room?
public
How does it
because
work?
I'm presenting like
It is a
graded stuff.
not like
Kind of.
fully like closed doors. They allow you to invite like people that you want to, but it is a like sort of private presentation
Yeah.
Okay.
against the council. The
Yeah.
Like a public lecture that you where
Yeah,
everyone
galas
can
at
come
the
and ask
council.
Yeah.
questions, like you do in some of
Yeah.
those schools.
Well, I mean, I have to
Sectors surrounded by everyone, yeah.
present everything that I put together to the council, but if you all want to come and watch, you guys can sit
like to
in the
support
back and
you.
watch.
We'll
definitely sneak in.
Love to, yes.
Well, you don't even have to sneak in. I can just bring who I want. It's just, more kind of invite only as opposed to open to the public. But
Yeah, and if things start looking bad for you, we can threaten them, and I'll pull out my gun.
No.
No. We can
sure-
razzle and dazzle them.
I'll get, I'm sure I'll get an A
Things
without
won't go bad.
you all.
She's prepared to
That's
come
true.
around.
But
She's
it will
pretty
be
smart.
it will
But
be
I
good to
appreciate-
listen to their feedback too when you
Very
bring
good.
up the diagram and other things. We can
Yes,
watch
and
out for what they might
How,
say.
Yeah,
do
maybe-
they, how do they
Maybe
react?
Yes.
you all, read their
Read.
reactions,
Mhm.
see if any of them seem
Yeah, that's good.
too interested
Some
or
leads we can follow up
something
on.
like that.
Yeah.
We can be like plants in the crowd, and then you can ask us questions, and we can be like, I know that, and help and do other things and support you. It'll be great.
But I
Good
don't
team.
think it's really a scenario
Good team.
where I would be questioning them to
Oh.
find out more information. But I think after
no.
the fact,
Mm.
I
if
just
we want to
wondered
have
if-
a private discussion
If
with
they
them,
were asking
Yes.
you questions, we might be able to learn
Exactly,
from what
yeah.
questions
I mean,
they
yeah.
ask you.
they might ask kind of follow-up questions
Yeah, yeah.
for more details, although if they just read what I wrote, then it would all be there. But they might ask some, if any come to mind, while I'm presenting. But well, I mean, if they ask anything more, is there anybody like around? Or are we kind of like
No, so at this point
in
you
a
could be-
hallway or in
yeah.
a nook or whatever?
It could be in one of the dorms that you were given, yours, or a private person. You're fully whenever you want as a group to have like privacy. Just let me know so I can.
Yeah. Maybe we like made it back to my like the little study area of like my room or something, because so I have like my presentation materials or something like laid out.
Have you brought the second law to your dormitory, Harmony?
Yeah, probably. I feel like if we've been there 2 weeks, then yeah, I don't think I would. I'm not like hiding anything. It's more like this is my room, guys. Like this is my school. This is this. There's the library. Here's the other library. That's where Riz is down there. This is my favorite library. Just like that.
I will say that there's a couple places that Harmony does point out to you. There are the primary quad of the school is called the Opus Walk Gardens. There are there are also four small shops per se that are within the school's campus. In the Opus Walk Gardens, there is Toil and Trouble, a primary potion and kind of tonics and potions shop. There is the Splatter House, which is an art and arcane supply shop. In the Hall of Semantics, there is Rhyme and Reason, a book and scroll shop. There's
I love
also
the
the
Hall of Semantics.
there's also the Glassfire Cafe, which is sort of like the canteen, the food court of the school.
So there are places that sell stuff here. Oh, cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes there's supplies and things that we need for class or for homework, and they don't want us to have to go all the way down to town every time we need
that
some more supplies.
Makes sense. It's just,
What kind of
Sure, what
posters
to
does
expect.
Harmony have in her room? What kind
Yeah.
of posters?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Which cute guys? Yeah.
It's just formulas and
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
No, there's definitely some whatever equivalent of I just love Shakespeare. You know what I mean? There's that equivalent of old poetry song type of stuff. He was a bard 300 years ago. But I just still, it's so
resonates.
good. It's timeless. If you understand it, it's so good. And
Harmony
then-
is insufferable.
and she's definitely the Elberin equivalent of a Swiftie.
Yeah.
So
She's much easier when we're out on the road.
so
gets her out. She's
whoever that is, she's got definitely like the Eras Tour poster on her wall.
She's progressing back.
There's a lot of passion.
Yeah.
He read us that passage already.
She's just so good at songwriting. It's like the old and the modern. It's so good. They're both so good.
The Elvis tour.
The Epics tour.
I will say also, Tem and Harmony, you're able to, if you want to, post those books back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say, I would love to go and do that with Harmony, and then while we're there, giving them back, Tem's just gonna be like, "So you're feeling ready? You feeling good? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that you're gonna blow it out of the water. You're truly, and I say this with all sincerity, especially having gone through a lot of academia myself. You're gonna blow it out of the water. It's gonna be great, and congratulations, truly."
Thank you. Exciting.
I noticed, like, you're a bard, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like the whole time we've been impressed by your amazing musical talent and magic. Why are you doing warlock lessons and classes and with Riz, and he's copying your homework? Are you double majoring, or is there?
No, I'm not. Well, I'm not actually going to warlock classes, but just that my parents and my mom especially really wanted me to be a warlock, and so I just didn't want to let them down, and I wasn't sure how to tell them that I switched majors. So Riz just gives me his notes from warlock classes so that I kind of keep up enough that if my mom were to call me or my dad were to visit or something, then I would at least be able to make it seem like I was still in warlock classes. It's not, I know it's not ideal, but once I graduate, then it'll be okay, and she'll still be so proud of me.
I totally understand, because I'm in a very similar situation with my family. They sent me off and told me to do one thing, and I'm definitely not doing that either. So I understand the pressure that parents can give for that, and the very large ramifications it can have as well too. But
I'm sure she'll understand. She just my whole life she just wanted me to be her little warlock, and it's really hard to then just say, no, actually, Mom, I really want to be a musician. She really wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
But once I graduate and she sees how good I was at school and how well I did and how skilled I am, then it won't even matter.
totally.
So I'll tell her as soon as graduation's over.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like your dad wants you to be a conquering oligarch, and you're like, no, I just want to help people. But
Right,
it's like,
exactly.
what's the harm in that? But I understand.
They don't get it sometimes. But is your dad a conquering oligarch? Stop talking about me.
Oh, well, I was.
Not that there's anything wrong.
Well,
families are all different.
Right. Because then your mom that's trapped in the hells gave you that necklace, right? Like that's like. Family. It's it's got.
You don't
it's
choose
got
your
its stuff.
family, but
Exactly.
she's doing the best she can with the tools that she has.
Right. Yeah.
She's trapped in hell. What is she supposed to do?
Yeah, when your family is, slowly taking over an entire area and not really having any compassion for the people that are living there. Yeah.
She doesn't want to torture people. They're making her torture people.
Exactly. Totally.
I'm so glad we understand each other.
And Tem just like puts a big ol' hand on Harmony's back.
Like-
Yeah.
And look at us. Despite our families, we returned these books like we said
we were absolutely gonna return these books, and we've done it. And then we like slam them down on the table.
The courier.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I'll get the shit out right away.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, truly. Yeah, express, please. Yeah.
The ship has been gone for a while.
Yeah.
Can I ask a quick question
Phenomenal, yes.
about general knowledge that we have, having been here for a while, about the area? This is the college. There's a town or city. Is it on the outskirts? Is it in the middle of the city?
No, I will say that.
What's the layout in case we wanted to?
Absolutely. From the
Stretch our legs.
Night on the town.
Well, yeah, I have some stuff.
Oh,
Mischief.
that was very loud.
I love mischief.
You have to study.
I'll join you for
said
mischief.
I was
Yeah,
pretty much
She's
done.
ready.
Anytime.
She's ready to go.
I'm ready to unmanage this mischief.
Rumspringa?
I will say from the from the confines of Prismari, you do get the occasional glimpse out the window through either through the academic gates or various windows from these tall towers. You do see that the academy is pretty much not exactly center, just maybe off center of the city of Yokai, the capital city of the Sylvan dynasty. Yokai is both thrilling and daunting to look at, to say the absolute least. It may not be as grandiose or extravagant as capitals like Grisha in Abenthal or New Haven in the Republic. It's not nearly as complicated or complex as the ever-changing city of once, and is not even technologically as forward as Port Elsewhere. But Yokai is insanely massive. The city sprawls out in all directions to the point where there's no end to the city before the horizon. There's just city in almost all directions. The Sylvan dynasty keeps itself primarily shrouded from the rest of Elverin. Not many people know of Yokai and its massive size. It is broken up into nearly 100 separate individual districts of various sizes and range from squalid slums to bustling markets and tightly packed residences to luxurious, stately neighborhoods with tall pagoda towers rising out of beautiful zen gardens flush with exotic flora and fauna. Yokai, being the capital of the Sylvan dynasty, has been, as you can kind of see both by the populace out in the city and even the student body here, Yokai is the sort of like place to go, the haven for any of these Sylvan or Feywild kind of immigrants that have come over through these portals. There are dryads, satyrs, centaurs, Harengon, pixies, all manner of these fey creatures, and you can sort of see the city all around you, all these individual districts. It's like a patchwork quilt where there's just different little neighborhoods that have incredibly different, varying
I think you
like,
told us
styles.
this already. Humans in the minority here, right?
Yes,
You said
humans
that,
are
on the campus. Like people who look like me, we're rare
Absolutely.
compared to Genasi and Harengon and
You notice that like
tieflings and elves and
the primary
It's
population
Fey.
majority is elvish,
Elvish.
are the elves, and followed pretty closely by like elf adjacent races. There's a lot of gnomes. There's a lot of centaurs, satyrs, plenty of pixies. There are other various forms. You do see tieflings. You do see other genasi. They're on the rarer side. Turtles, herringons. No kobolds that you can see.
We're the outsiders.
You see no kobolds. You see no loxodon. You do see a few fair amount of tieflings. Plenty of elves, and you do see other than
Some humans, but not many.
a couple. There are a dime a dozen, but you do see the occasional human. But yeah, you do see all of
And
you
it's-
caught glances of
And the school
yokai
is
outside.
in the city, or it's on the outskirts.
In the city.
So
It seems to take up its
looking
own
out-
district.
Okay, got it. So it's a district
Mhm.
in its own right.
Sort of,
Yes,
this massive like capital seems to be like divided into hundreds of little tiny mini cities, little mini neighborhoods.
So I wondered if you're prepared, whether we could go out into the city.
Sure.
A couple of names of places a long distance away from here, which I can't reach right now, but every city has an underground. And I wondered if you all would be willing to accompany me in the search for information on people who traded illegal and immoral goods.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I figured I'd
We're
ask
still the
if
second
Nick
law
Knack
just
first.
because
Are you
You
trying
know,
to maybe
just 'cause we're
find
here.
information of
I
your
just
brother or
wondered
something?
if someone in this underworld would know something of the networks in which, through which, when people are taken, if they are trafficked or traded or in transit.
I actually might be able to know something.
I
Or
wondered whether
someone?
you might. I know you travel in those kinds of circles more than someone like me.
Not so much anymore, but I used to dabble.
Yeah. No, I.
Would we be in any danger, or are we just trying to figure out what's happening?
Usually.
Underground, underworld. It is not a safe place in any city, in my limited experience. But it is important to me to try, in any big city, to see
Yeah,
who are the contacts, and what is known about what the routes are, where may people end up,
Yeah.
and try
Yeah.
to find my brother.
I understand. Yes,
Yeah,
I
we'll help you.
That's very noble.
It would be helpful from my perspective if I had company.
Sure.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a bit about underground organizations too, so
Yeah, I drew a blank.
You know a lot about
elsewhere.
undergrounds.
that's very true.
Mhm.
If they're literally underground, I
Yeah.
can probably find them for you.
Yeah,
There was
I mean,
nothing in port elsewhere. I thought as a major port it would be a good place, but could not find anything.
Hmm.
Kori was where I found these names. But I figured any underground, any area, any big city.
Is that why you were researching those places? Was because they're tied to?
Yes, we remember when we were in the black market on floor 14
Hmm,
of Kori.
oh, yes.
The,
Right.
what's her name? Karaka?
Oh,
Karaka who took over.
yes.
It was an organization called the Hounds of Hellatry, is
Mm.
what she mentioned. She said they were responsible for that kind of illicit trade in Cowrie before they threw them
Right.
out.
Right.
They said they headed to Thugwater and the Stilben Gulch, which I understand to be on the border of the desert that heads toward the Redlands.
Yeah.
In the south east. So a long way away, but every big city has an underground,
Okay.
and every underground may have information.
We can try and help
yeah,
out.
every big city has an underground.
And
You-
if you're
you-
ready, maybe taking your mind off the imminent presentation would be good. We won't stay up too late.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. I know I'm ready. I know I'm ready. I
You
know
can
I'm
probably want to-
prepared.
It's true. You don't
Yeah.
want
We
to
want to
over-prepare.
practice again,
Yeah,
but it won't help.
and
It
really-
won't help.
What if there's anything more important than school, it's helping people. So
Mhm.
Yes.
you're
Yes,
right.
And you're going to be good, no matter what. An extra practice, how much difference can it make now?
That's true. I've
you're
already
good.
practiced 6 times now. So
So, a night off, thinking about something else, consolidates it in your mind.
yeah.
And we'll try not to get into too much trouble.
Yeah.
Would probably
No
be,
promises.
It would probably be ideal. We don't want anything to happen and then Harmony's chances to be jeopardized.
No. We won't put
Yeah.
we won't put her dissertation
No.
presentation at risk.
It,
We'll be cautious.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, we're allowed to go to the cities. Yeah. Maybe though. Well, I wouldn't really know where to look for some
Would your
sort of entrance to an underground, but Riz
I
probably
was going to
knows.
say your friend, he probably knows the places.
I'm sure he
would-
does.
He seems to be up to lots of trouble.
He's probably feeling a little better after starting.
I'm sure only his pride is hurt.
Yeah.
I think
Did a number
I
on
think
him.
he thought he drew. It was a fair exchange.
He is pretty good, but
I
you
didn't
know.
He had to
one
pull out.
time, but,
He had to pull out a lot more tricks than you did. That's for sure.
Yeah, and those tricks didn't even land.
I don't have any tricks. That's my problem. It's sometimes why I'm harder to hit.
Hmm.
But
Well,
if he's
if,
feeling better, we can maybe he will
Yeah.
help us.
if he doesn't know, then I'm sure he knows somebody who knows.
Okay.
He
Well
always knows
well
somebody.
connected guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's ask if he wants to come too.
All right. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go grab him on our way out.
It is never too hard to find. He's pretty much a magnet. He's a little bit of a social magnet. So if you're not seeing him in the center of a small crowd, he's probably just in his dorm. You do find him though in the center of a small crowd, as he sort of like is
Eye of the storm.
out on the Opus Walk, kind of like on one of those little grassy hills besides one of the many, many koi ponds that are just kind of like littered throughout the Opus Walk in the Prismari campus. You see that he's surrounded by a small group of people that are watching him as he has a little like glass ball he's sort of like juggling, and he like will flip it in the air and like catch it on one finger, clearly using like his air manipulation to keep it where it is, spinning it around, moving it, making it light up, doing all manner of basically the extremely cool, which is just as equally lame version of like that hacky sack guy, or the yo-yo guy, or the frisbee guy, or the
devil stick guy.
Yeah, there's always
Diablo.
that
Yeah.
guy on campus who's just showing off.
Usually,
Just 'cause he
usually I
can.
hate that guy, but it's Riz.
It's Riz.
Yeah.
He's kind
It's
of
Riz.
kind of hard not to like.
You do see though that like he notices
Name
like
is
you all
appropriate.
coming before he sort of like wraps up the performance. They all kind of like give a little cheer. He's like, "All right, like next time," and he like pushes past them, and you see that the whole time that little glass ball he's doing all these tricks with, he just kind of like waves his hand and it disappears. It was a minor illusion the whole time. Before he kind of like trots up to you guys like, "Oh, they're all dressed up, ready to go somewhere."
I'm wearing the exact same thing. I was barring.
Oh yeah, and he's very well aware. Everyone's all wearing just
Well, we were going to head into the city. Wondered, Harmony said you might be able to
Well,
act as a little guide of sorts. You know the places.
I figured if there's anybody who knows where some sort of sketchy underground something in the city might be going on, it's probably someone
Hold on,
you
I need
know.
all 5 of you to witness this. I need witnesses.
We're right
And
here.
just the 5 of you and the gods above that Harmony Claremont is asking me where to find a sketchy place.
I told her she was listening up. I told you.
We've done it before.
This has been
Bad
how it's
influence
been
on
going.
her. Well, maybe it's a good influence.
I don't know what you
You'd be
guys have done to her
surprised.
that I couldn't do, but I'm proud as fuck. So, what
I
do
just
you
think
guys...
she studied enough for the day. She's all set for the
Nick with
presentation
us?
tomorrow.
Okay. Excuse us. 6 of us. Nik-Nak's here.
Yeah, down here.
Oh, sorry,
Oh, no,
Sledgehammer.
he was talking about the 5 of
Excluding Harmony.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yes,
okay.
he was talking about Harmony.
No, saying it's
I don't
Sledgehammer.
count.
with us.
Well, yeah, Sledgehammer.
Yeah,
Yeah, easy mistake.
So he like snaps his fingers and casts levitate on to eye level with everybody else. There you go.
Wait.
Sorry, you can also resist it, and there is a DC.
No, he's gonna let
Okay.
Tem's gonna like stare right into Nik-Nak. Oh.
This is an interesting perspective.
Yeah. Welcome to the land of stilts, little guy.
How long does this last?
A couple minutes, or I can just put you down.
I kind of like it.
It seems like you've been paying a little more attention to Warlock class than your notes would indicate.
I mean, I'm not totally lost without you.
All right.
I've been doing my own stuff. I got a dissertation too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got the
What's
only
it?
one graduating.
Well, I know everyone, but I don't know. I guess I forgot. I never pictured you really working on like a final project, but obviously, like I knew you would be. But at the same time, I couldn't picture you sitting at a desk. But
To be fair,
I believe in you. What are you working on?
I've been sort of following the footsteps of all my warlock classes. Dissertation. It's gonna sound a lot more boring than it is. It's basically dissecting the laws and bylaws of Fey contracts and Fey kind of like, how to get into a Fey contract, how to get out of a Fey contract without losing anything important. Basically, my mom calls it basically like being a glorified lawyer for Fey law, which is pretty much an oxymoron because Fey law is just that there is no law, turns out. So basically, easiest dissertation I've ever written.
That's very clever of you.
I'm
Well,
pretty clever.
I
One
hope
day
yours
maybe
goes
you
well
can
too.
write dissertations about the second law.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's our group name.
Oh yeah. I do like it.
Yeah.
Very, very patch on the arm worthy.
Hmm.
In my experience with the
sketchy
Feywild, it's
places.
the fine print that gets you.
You know where they are, right?
I mean, I know a couple sketchy places. What are you looking for? Underground fighting pits, black market goods. Just a real nice place to find some
Human
company for the
trafficking.
night. Wait, what?
Well,
Just whether or not there's
think-
any information about it. It's possible.
We're not doing that.
Kind
We're
of
not.
like
We're
a
not
lost
doing
and
that.
found, but for
It's
people.
like-
We're not.
That's
That's
not
not.
immediately-
No. We're
His
not.
attitude
Doing that.
immediately shifts a little bit. Like, what-
Absolutely
what?
not. No.
Oh,
It's
Looking-
information.
Looking for information
for-
about the trade.
Well, to
In order
catch
to
the
prevent
traffickers,
it.
not
Right.
to be a trafficker.
Of course.
Okay.
Looking for a family.
In the
Like-
same,
like
in the
a
same
lost
way
and
that
found,
I'm
but
like,
for
where's the
people."
bomb shop?
Right, yeah.
Learned our lesson.
Yeah. Where are the traffickers?
Where the traffic at?
All right. I mean,
This is the trafficking store.
I'm not gonna lie. That's not something that I really have stumbled across or looked for. But
I would hope not, but I would maybe. Who's the sketchiest person you know in town?
Is there an underground of some kind who runs it?
oh, there definitely is.
Let's
You
start that.
you ever been to the Lemondrop before?
We've never been in the city before. I mean, Harmony perhaps, but
Not to the
Not
limit,
me.
but I know of it.
Well, you know the upstairs. Sure. I can get you there and in. Just you're gonna have to tone it down a little bit. Basically, make yourselves less interesting, because the more interesting you are, the bigger target you're gonna paint on yourselves.
It might be kind of like the giant elephant man says.
Yeah.
That might be kind of difficult.
The Nik-Nak
Kinda what
is
I was
just
thinking, big
spinning
guy.
in the air next to you.
How do you mean not point out?
Yeah.
I've not worn a shirt once.
Yeah.
That's
Not
fine.
gonna
Just
stop
pick up
today.
line. I have plenty of tricks up my
Or
sleeve.
you know
I don't
what?
have-
We all have a
Maybe
line.
Leaning into the hard opposite will make you stand out in a good way. I'm just saying that the place we're gonna go to, if you make yourselves,
we would attract attention.
yeah, and that could be good attention, or it could be bad attention. But
if you
I'll take you there.
if you don't want to go,
Oh, I'll go. I'll take you there. I wanna see what happens.
let's go.
Mm.
Are we up for this?
Sure.
Yeah.
Guess we can put our foot in the door. Yeah.
See what we can learn. Maybe it'll be nothing.
Stick together, though.
Yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
rash, just information if we can get it, and quick retreat if we can't.
Do we need to tie ourselves up again so we don't get lost?
I don't think
No,
here.
that's just the Lost Woods. We should be okay here.
Maybe someday soon. We'll get to.
Maybe this party
It's a-
is happening later.
Yeah.
Depends on how the party ends.
Yeah, right.
We can get like more people together.
Tie
Like
the
a conga line.
conga line.
So,
It's a
Like a
bone
harmony
way.
line.
okay, we're out. We're in.
I feel like if there's like a street or a path or something we're going down where like some sort of section where like Riz doesn't have to be like leading through something and I can just give him like a look to kind of like drop to the back of the group with me for a minute, then I would try to do that.
Sure.
And
I'll,
then
step back with you.
and I'll kind of go like this and not can he do like some sort of like wind thing to be like a little like bubble of like semi privacy or something like that. I know, I'm like I mean, I could try to do thaumaturgy to like keep our voices down or something like that.
Do like busy crowd sounds, make them louder or something.
All the things that he has that would do that are fairly destructive.
Shatter.
What?
I'll just use like I'll use thaumaturgy to just kind of like make the groups like voices of they're chatting among themselves like a little louder, and then ours between us two just like a little softer.
He'll aid in that. He does have thaumaturgy and prestidigitation that he'll kind of like add to it however he can. And at this point, you and Riz have basically perfected the kind of we're gonna have a moment to ourselves kind of thing after all these years. 100%. He kind of drops
I'm just
back.
like, let's do our thing where we both like make our little soundless kind of thing.
What's up?
Well, okay, so I mean, like, I know about like the Lemondrop upstairs, but is it really that bad downstairs? I don't want to get in trouble right before I have my dissertation tomorrow.
Well, then you really should have gotten that first. The Lemondrop is.
I mean, we're allowed to go into town, but
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you. Lemondrop is sort of HQ for the Glitz and Glower, aka the Fey Mafia. So, how deep you want to go?
Just not deep until after tomorrow.
All right.
I have to graduate.
Okay. Yeah. I got you.
Okay.
We'll keep it surface level.
Should I just like wait upstairs, like keep an eye out?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good. It's believable.
Okay. I won't get in trouble for just being upstairs, right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, come on. Kind of like trots like, kind of like makes it. See, you do, again, something that you're both very good at. You kind of like remain where you are while Riz sort of breaks off and sort of like immediately somehow is at the front of the group again and is corralling people. You see, he's like immediately grabbing Tem's attention and pointing him to some other like scenic view or whatever. But you do see that his mannerisms and tone has like shifted slightly to slightly more careful, which is probably as good as you're gonna get with Riz. He does escort you through a couple of Yokai's districts before you get to a kind of river that kind of cuts through the middle of the city. There are little kind of rafts that look like, basically they look like little miniature like pagodas or what is the word I'm looking for?
Gondolas?
Gazebos. That's the word. Start with the G, those pretty close. They basically are just little floating gazebos that are pulled by hippocampuses, those little water horses.
They're called hippocampuses.
Hippocampi?
Yeah.
Hippocampuses. However, one of you people out there on the internet, correct me, please.
Correct us in the comments.
Yeah. But they are pulled across the river to a part of town that is far more seedy looking. And you do see that there are all manner of like humans, elves, and actually most humanoid species and races are all but absent. You do see the occasional one, but there you see primarily satyrs, fairies, centaurs, Harengon, dryads, all manner of just like fey creatures here. Bit seedier as he kind of like leads you to it with utmost confidence and gets you to a small little tavern that has the Lemondrop on it. There's a little yellow goblet pouring a drink out onto the ground, and as the drink comes down, the sign is illusory. So the water or the yellow drink comes out of the goblet, hits the bottom of the sign, and forms a little like Lemondrop candy that glimmers and shines before it kind of reverses and does it again. He kind of like leads you inside. It's one of those like old West moments where like the doors swing open and everyone in the bar goes and kind of turns towards the door. All eyes on the 6-7 of you before there's a few seconds of just like general everyone doing their own version of a perception check before the heads all kind of like go back to the business they were doing.
You mentioned the up and downstairs. This is down or up? Does it go down or does?
Is this the lemon or the drop?
It goes down. This is the lemon. It goes downstairs.
Oh, so downstairs is deeper. How many levels down? Just one?
I haven't counted.
Okay, but more than one.
More than one.
How tall's the glass?
Pretty tall.
Wait, Riz, have you gone downstairs?
At the risk of incriminating myself? No.
Mm-hmm. Well, should we get a table somewhere?
You know, I think that I'll take lead on this one, Harmony. You just stick around, hang out. 5 of you guys come with me. Then he kind of like starts like waving you towards the back of the tavern.
You're staying here. You're good.
I'll watch out and make sure that
Will you be safe here?
no faculty or anybody.
You have no idea how many sticky situations Harmony has gotten me out of because she pays attention more than I do.
All right.
I'm pretty good at convincing people.
You think you'll be okay?
Yeah. kind of like put up my like a hood, drop down my scarf a bit to cover more of my body. All right, let's do this.
Zakkai's
Went from
incognito
scarf
mode.
to midriff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a crop pump.
Still abs right on display. Yeah.
Yeah, and the V.
You lower the pants just a little bit more.
Yeah. You're like, okay.
Yeah. Gotta show
Balance.
more skin. Gotta balance it out.
Balance.
You guys come on me. You
I'll
kinda-
just get like a little like on a stool or something somewhere and like have a book out.
I'm gonna have Slink come off the arm and stay with Harmony.
Okay.
All right. Tell Slink and Harmony wave at hand.
If
anything
any,
happens, then she can contact.
if there's any reason that I think you all should get out of there, I'll tell Slink.
She can contact me within 120 feet.
Okay.
Riz takes the 5 of you back towards five of you back to the back of the bar, where there's a large kind of like big elaborate oil painting on the wall, where this like it's a brave, bold knight riding a horse and carrying like a naked maiden in his lap, and the woman is like throwing her hands back, and there's like a tiny like she's in a very dramatic pose, and she's holding a little lemon in one of her hands, and he reaches up and touches the lemon a little bit, and the painting just is gone, and there's a tunnel behind it. He's like, all right, quick.
All right.
Step through.
Yeah, step through.
All right, kind of looks around and like Riz turns back to you, and he's like, 5 minutes, and like waves his hand, and the painting comes back.
This is
Harmony. What is your passive perception?
12.
Awesome.
Have a great passive investigation. If you can think of a way for that to be useful.
We will.
Investigate what's the probable cause.
I'm like focused so much on keeping like a ruse of me with the book that I'm
Don't
like
be suspicious.
paying too much attention to the book.
You should just start reading.
I'm actually just reading. Yeah. I'm actually just reading, and then I'm like, oh yeah, and I kind of look up and I'm like, it's like advanced warlock stuff. I'm like, I better make sure Riz's notes were not great, so I better make sure that I'm gonna have to know some of this stuff.
I would have instructed Slink to alert me telepathically if I'm in range, if any danger seems to be imminent in and around the Harmony, so that having Slink also just keep a perimeter.
Yeah,
So that
absolutely.
if anyone approaches or anyone looks menacing.
Slink playing guard cat.
Yeah. Or just an extra sense of
Yeah.
if she were to get into any trouble, we want to get back out there.
I will say with that passive perception, the longer that you do kind of read and sit there, the more you sort of like spot out of the corner eye or just like fleeting little moments of it. Riz did sort of say that like the top part was like, oh yeah, that's the chill part, the safe part of the Lemondrop. It says a lot when you sort of start to realize all the sketchy things that are happening, even just on the first floor. You see that there's like illicit substances being passed around at that table over there. You see that there's like people like brawling over a card game in this direction. You see on one table there is a centaur and what looks to be like a smaller ogre in the middle of an arm wrestling contest, but wherever the loser's arm would fall is a miniature bear trap waiting to like catch the loser's hand. It's a bit of a sketchier place than he may have led on at first. Other thing that you notice,
Such unnecessary danger. Gosh.
couple of minutes.
It's the tame level.
Couple of minutes after you've arrived and your friends have gone, you do see something that you weren't expecting at all here. Through those doors, you kind of catch it. A hooded figure kind of like walks in, and the hood kind of comes down, and you see Professor Veyron. Skin birch tree white, like her hair has like little leaves kind of sprouting from it. Clearly her like dryad kind of like racial profile on display. She kind of like takes a quick look around the room before she scuttles off to, you see, she goes to basically the other end of the bar. It's a miracle that she noticed you. 'Cause
Actually, if I have something,
Pink
I guess I
hair.
would have
Yeah.
a cloak
Yeah.
with a
Go
hood,
for it.
right?
Yeah.
A cloak with a hood. If I don't always wear a cloak with a hood, then for this, definitely, I'm like, we're sneaking into a sketchy place, and I would have brought like a dark purple cloak with a hood. So I would have put that up, and then when she walks in, I'm like.
You catch her kind of go to the opposite end of the bar, and she leans over and whispers something to the kind of little fairy bartender, and they point, and she kind of looks over. There's only one level to this floor over here, but there's like the main tavern area, the bar, and then off to the side are a small set of like 3 doors that seem to be more private rooms. And you see that the fairy kind of gestures to one. Baron nods. What is your passive insight? Or you can roll an insight check.
It's also 12. But if I'm looking, can I roll an insight check? Well, that's worse. My passive insight is 12. Is 8. I rolled 8.
Especially because it's sort of just, and it goes off the passive perception as well. We'll roll with 12. You do kind of get, there's never, Professor Baron is not only an incredibly accomplished mage and professor at Prismari. Never once have you seen her stumble, flap, kind of like fall, or even look anything but calm and confident. She looks incredibly nervous as she sort of like looks around wildly, moves over to that door, opens the latch, opens the door, looks inside, steps inside, looks out again, and quickly closes the door.
Is it, you said it's like behind the bar, or is it like an
No,
area
just off
that
to the side.
it's an area that is like accessible?
It's accessible.
Is there anyone else on that side, like lingering near any of those other doors, or was it the woman that kind of pointed to the door for her? Is she still kind of like there, or is watching that area?
No. Once the bartender kind of points, and the bartender is a fairy only about this high, kind of like fluttering and zipping around Tinkerbell style behind the bar. Once she points, she zips back to tending bar, and the place off to the side is, imagine like an L-shaped tavern, but the part at the end, that L is just much smaller and thinner. It's just those 3 lines of doors, almost kind of like at a bar, that little hallway where the bathrooms are. It's sort of that, out of the way, no tables or chairs. People don't seem to be going back there.
Like a foot.
Feet. Oh, okay. I'll just say I'm just like. I'll get up and I'll just kind of be walking like this. Pull my hood down. And as if I'm just kind of like, oh, where's the bathroom here? And I'm like reading, and I'm walking through the bar, like reading, and also just like looking around, and then I'll just kind of just go towards that hallway and like lean against the wall. You said that there's like 3 doors, and she went into like the middle one. I'll lean against the wall, like just, if it's the L, then like kind of at the intersection area where it's still the main room, and then kind of look around again and see if anybody's like paying attention to me.
The only thing that's paying attention is Slink is fine.
Yeah.
Like, sort of slithering, like, cat, like, as if
Can
staying to the
Slink can
shadow.
understand me but can't speak back to me, or
That's
no?
correct, yeah.
Okay.
I can speak telepathically to Slink, but she can understand instructions and language spoken to her.
Slink, would you maybe just, so the woman that just went into the second door that's my favorite professor, but she looked a little nervous. Would you maybe just sneak into that room and just make sure she's not in danger?
I guess Slink will have that instruction if that's all right, yeah.
Slink kind of just like, it's strange, you're just talking to a weird sort of like black void of an animal that's kind of just looking up at you. There's not even eyes, it's just like a living shadow of a cat.
Yeah.
But as you finish talking, the shadow kind of melts and just turns into a puddle on the ground and seeps underneath the door into the room. 5 of you are following Riz down this long corridor before it opens up into a almost like bird cage, like oversized bird cage the size of a small room. And there is a satyr inside standing next to a little lever and kind of like looks in, counts everybody, and he recognizes Riz and nods. And Riz is immediately like, well, bet you didn't think you'd see me again. But I brought friends this time. And the satyr just sort of like nods, like, well, that's good. All right, where to? And Riz kind of like looks at the rest of you, like, what are you looking for?
I'd like to see if there's any weird Fey bits, or especially.
The satyr kind of scoffs a little bit. Ain't nothing but weird Fey bits here.
Well, I guess. Well, herring gone, hi, and foot gone, bye. So.
Herring gone with a foot gone.
Ha! I guess if anyone is selling any herring gone feet, like little, like lucky rabbit's foot.
Is that why people
Fairy chop shop.
You say that,
Black market?
and the satyr kind of like narrows his eyes a little bit, but not in a suspicious or even upset way, but in a more sort of like recognize, like, oh, that's like kind of what you're looking for.
You can definitely see like a bit of like anger and like sparks now starting to like fuse up if he's starting to get like interest in me, like there's something here, like sort of intention.
The satyr kind of like nods a little bit, takes the lever and kind of cranks it down, and the bird cage immediately drops a few inches and then starts to proceed down. Then this like basically this large room-sized elevator starts to lower down, and you watch as different floors start to go by. You can all make perception checks if you want to see what's going on each of these floors.
Sure.
Let's see what the baddies are up to.
We are the baddies.
Yeah. 19.
19.
15.
9. 23.
22. 11. Different floors go by, and you do catch little glimpses here and there. One floor goes by that seems to be almost entirely like cages, and one half-orc that's like cracking a whip as like trying to like fend this almost like leopard print saber-tooth looking tiger kind of back into its cage. You see different cages, all manner of exotic animals that are not native to this plane, most likely and certainly are Fey creatures that are being either exported and or imported from here. You kind of go by, you see other less than savory and more erotic things happening. At one point you see go by, you see a woman absolutely going to town on 3 goblins. Or rather 3 goblins going to town on this woman as it kind of goes by for a moment.
What was that?
I'll tell you later.
Specifically, Zakkai, you don't recognize the actual substance, but you know a drug lab when you see one.
Yeah.
Kind of go by. Then eventually the cage kind of stops, and the birdcage door swings open, and the satyr kind of like gestures for you to leave.
We're also interested, perhaps after this stop, in someone we might talk to about various trades that might come through this town.
Oh, you're on the right floor.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I guess
I'll
we'll
step
find
out.
what we're looking for here, Anara.
I hope so.
Give Matilda my regards, and he kind of closes the door, and the cage starts going back up.
What?
Matilda.
All right.
Riz kind of like tenses a little bit. First time you've all seen Riz anything but easygoing and confident, but he kind of like straightens up a little bit. He's like,
Do you know this Matilda?
I do know Matilda.
She's in charge here?
She's in charge here.
And the last time you saw her, it ended well?
I never interacted with her before, if I'm being honest.
is he
Mostly
being-
just know the reputation.
Is he being honest?
Yeah, roll an insight.
Yeah, I would like to too, remembering the whole Pilka situation in
Oh.
Calgary.
It's a 15. Although again, my passive insight is 17.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I got an 11.
I trust everyone.
I mean, it's not that I don't trust him. I'm just trying to get a sense.
Oh, I failed my
Does he owe this
insight.
person a lot of money? We're about to walk into a place where
24.
24? No, with those very high insight checks, you can see that he's telling the truth in the sense that he has not had any direct interaction with this person. But he certainly seems to
he
know
knows who this
reputation.
person is.
Matilda Fizzlepop is the leader of the Glitz and Glower. The Glitz and Glower are the Fey Mafia.
Oh.
Oh.
Perfect.
You wanted sketchy, right?
They may know something.
She should know.
Yeah, we knew what we were getting into.
Are
Perhaps they will.
they
help.
friendly?
Yeah, Hops, is there any sort of rules, decorum, or what are we supposed to... How do we greet her?
Names are usually real important, so don't try to give those away all willy nilly. So be very careful of how they say things. But we're not in the Fae, so I don't know how it fully works. But we did deal with that one dancer that one time, and Anara got 8. So
Yeah, that's
I don't want
That's
to.
true.
But we got Riz here, right? You said that you're an expert with your dissertation on dealing with the particularities.
Yeah.
Great, so you can help us out.
Usually be nice and try to avoid direct eye contact.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
I'd listen to the little bunny friend.
Well, we're not doing anything wrong.
We're just trying to get
seeking
information, yes.
and if they don't have anything,
Do you want to take the lead, Anara and Basil, since you two are the ones
you have
with the
questions
specific
too,
questions?
presume?
Okay, all right. We'll follow your lead, and if you need backup, let us know.
Well,
I'll preface that if you guys are looking for information, it's not going to come for free, so I hope you planned on bringing something to the trade.
I got something that I have like 5 gold coins on me. My tiny coin purse.
we
Might work.
can see what the price might be and whether we can meet it.
Alright, well, here we go. He kind of like takes the lead again, start heading off. Harmony. Slink has kind of sunk into the ground and disappeared underneath the room. You asked Slink to see if she was in.
Just like in some sort of immediate danger or, I don't know, a lot of distress or something.
After maybe like 30-40 seconds, the shadow kind of seeps back out from under the door, reforms into a cat, and it kind of like rubs up against your leg and just sits.
I mean, at least she's not being attacked right now, I guess. I'll just slide over a little. I'll just kind of slide around the corner and like slide down next to the door. Still just, I got my butt. I just got the. I'm just like. Can I?
Almost inconspicuous.
Can I try? Well, first of all,
It's like
can
Anara
I?
going and trying to talk someone into something.
Yeah, for
It's
real.
like total failure.
Can I just
Don't teach no rogue classes.
Not as
I've not ever been to one of those. Had never audited a rogue class. Can I hear anything through the door?
I'll make a perception check.
10.
10.
Need bigger
So we're
ears.
literally the opposite of what we need to be. We're about to go in and my charisma trying to negotiate a deal, and you're trying to
It's fine.
sneak
It's
around.
fine.
So far,
Play
I'm
to our
only reading.
Why are we doing?
The only thing that you hear are footsteps, kind of like a few quick footsteps, and a pause, and another few quick footsteps, pause, footsteps, pause. She seems to be pacing.
Maybe she's waiting for somebody else to get here. In that case, I'll go back down the little hallway towards like the kind of intersection in the main area again, but then just find like a similar idea, a chair or a stool or something, but just like in a point where I could see who comes in and who goes back there.
You sort of like listen at the door, and are like, oh, okay, she's probably waiting for someone. Close the book, You turn, and as you're kind of looking back at the door, and you turn, you kind of like shoulder check somebody, or rather, they shoulder check you as you like run into a very large man, as tall as Tem and just as sort of wide, but made of basically full of bulking muscle instead of like gray elephant skin. Large, bushy black hair that's kind of pulled into a man bun. Chiseled like good looks, dazzling smile, like light tan skin. Any flickers of skin that you see from beneath his sleeves seem to be coated in tattoos, very tribal and ornamental. As he sort of like bumps into you. Sorry, didn't see you there.
So sorry. Oh, have a good night. And I'll just kind of like squeeze by him and try to like
flash you a smile, salutes, walks right to that door, opens it, steps inside.
Was there any like symbol or any like pieces of something that like stood out on his clothing or like any accessories or anything?
You can give me either a Arcana or Religion check.
Arcana. Oh, dang. 13. Arcana.
I'll say the only thing that you do sort of recognize, there wasn't anything kind of stand out worthy. If anything, he seems to be wearing intentionally very unobscure kind of like every man kind of clothes. As he kind of like walks in, I'll say the only thing you do see that a couple of the sleeves rile up, and you do see the couple of tattoos on his arms kind of showing. You recognize them only through various points of research, various classes that you've had. You recognize them as tattoos that mark the worshippers of a lesser deity. You're not quite sure which one. You don't remember. But you do remember the deity is known as the Lord of Sharks and all the great horrors of the deep.
Lesser, but definitely not safe.
Yeah.
What was it? It was a lesser.
Is a lesser, like more demigod status.
Oh, okay.
The horrors were lesser.
Lord
But
of
horrors of the deep.
The horrors were greater.
that deity is known as the Lord of Sharks and all the great horrors of the
Great
deep.
horrors.
Oh,
Great
great
horrors.
horrors.
Great horrors.
Every single one.
Those
All
horrors
lesser
are
deity,
great.
Greater horrors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Why would a forest sprite one with some representative of the what I can't remember the name when I read it. I'm just like talking to myself, mentally talking to myself while I'm sitting in that corner. I'm like, what?
You're pacing yourself.
Yeah. Oh. I'm sitting. I'm not gonna do anything immediately. I'm gonna sit there for a couple minutes, just like torn and trying to figure out like what to do or if I should do anything. Because the whole point was to not get in trouble before my presentation. Also, do I know if Professor Veyron is on the council that I present to?
She is not.
That's probably good. If something were to happen, or if she saw me. Can I? While I'm sitting there, at least, I'll kind of just like reach back. I still have the staff that was Selka's staff, and I had attuned to it. And I'll just kind of rub like a little like. There's kind of like, it's like sticks and stuff and kind of a little section of it. And it just kind of like does a little light flare of light and cast detect poison and disease with it.
Oh, okay.
It's,
Everyone here is
Everyone's drinking.
everyone likes it.
Yeah.
That's true. Alcohol is a poison. So
Blinded.
just, yeah. So yeah, sense the presence
sensor bars
and
will show
location of
everywhere.
poisons, poisonous creatures, and diseases within 30 feet. And I'm like, if there's just anything happening in that room that might help with.
It does say that it will locate magical contagions, so I will say that you detect one such in that room with me.
In this, a contagion? Does it tell me, like, what kind? Well, that says for poison, but if it's any different, it says you identify the kind of poison, poisonous creature, or disease in each case. But if it's like not really a poison, then that's fair.
Malawi bloat.
Is this just how doctors diagnose things in this world?
Yeah. I know what it
This
is.
world.
I'm detecting. Yeah.
Give me an Arcana check, and we'll see how hard you can pinpoint.
21.
21. The magical contagion and or disease that you detect in that room is vampirism.
Oh.
Well,
Okay. Do I have any does any knowledge from class or reading or anything come to mind immediately of just the best way to either disable or like get away from, you know what I mean? Like put down, disable, pause, something that I can just like pause the vampire, save Professor.
Harmony the Vampire Slayer.
My favorite Heroes episode.
A vampire pauser.
Something from Harmony's
Like I'm like
romance
I'm not
novels.
trying to like fight, you know what I mean? It's like I'm not trying to like fight the vampire. It's more just
Gonna
like
bust in and go,
they can't. They hate something so much that they just recoil for 6 seconds.
Make a history check.
Okay.
So
I'm sure Harmony's read some romantasy novels about vampires.
But it's like
Hate
which,
Shakespeare.
it's like, which is hot.
Yeah.
What kind of role? History?
History.
25.
25.
I mean, I know how they seduce people
Yeah.
in stories.
You know that
Theoretically.
they are hypersensitive to sunlight. They take damage in direct sunlight. They are. If a piercing weapon made of wood are driven through their heart, they are basically paralyzed. They are harmed by running water, and they cannot enter a residence without invitation of one of the occupants. I'll let you sit on that first.
Yeah.
The rest of you, Riz kind of like leads it into what looks to be a small office. There's a lot of chests and boxes and sort of wardrobes and filing cabinets sort of like stacked around. And you see there's a large oak kind of like desk in the middle of the room. Massive desk stacked high with bags of coin, precious gems, little doodads and objects kind of on there. Massive high-backed chair behind it, and sitting in that high-backed chair, about this tall, little plump, rotund fairy woman, hair kind of updone in like a bunch of like kind of like Liberty curls, kind of like the very like oversized kind of like curls, smoking like a long cigarette, one of those like long like cigarette holders, bright purple flouncy kind of dress on. She has like a few wrinkles that kind of creep into her like kind of pudgy face. She definitely looks a bit more business than her appearance would sort of lend it to. You kind of sort of expect fairies to be, like chipper and whimsical and zipping around and being all playful. This is a fairy CEO, it seems to be look like. She kind of like looks up, writing with like a very tiny like hummingbird feather quill, and she's before looking up at all of you before kind of like putting it back down. Yes.
Hi. I'm looking for maybe something that's lucky charms or little trinkets, faybits, or I guess more specifically, I'll just like put my leg right onto the table, like herringon feet.
Her wings kind of like flutter to life, and she rises up out of the chair, flutters over to one of the cabinets, kind of like waves her hand, and it opens by itself, and she kind of flips through it, pulls out a few parchments, looks at it. Don't have any in stock at the moment, but could be obtained.
I guess.
Or if you're looking to sell, and she looks at your other
That one. A herringon's nothing without his feet. I only got one of them left. Nik-Nak gave me another one, and I'm keeping both of these. Thank you. I guess. What I'm hoping to try and see if I can get is and I look around like cautiously and like almost like nervously at everyone. It's like, I don't want to cause trouble, but names. If anyone sells these herringon feet, I want names. I'm just like slowly like.
You ask for a precious commodity, and then ask for an even more precious commodity. If you're looking for herringon feet, I'm fresh out. If you're looking for names, because she sets a large kind of like ledger down on her desk, waves her hand and kind of flips open on its own.
I guess maybe not in that sense, but I guess names of people who sell herringon feet, and then I even sound more like intimidatingly like.
I'm gonna just gently put like one hand on Basil's shoulder and just steady. Remember the information.
Yeah.
Now, asking me to sell out a member of my clientele is not above me. But it will come at quite a high price. What are you willing to trade?
And I just throw down kind of this much.
No.
I want.
Anyone else? Our business is concluded.
But
Wait,
And
we're
like
not done yet. My request is related in a way, but not related to the commodity in question. I seek information too about what I wonder, think, assume maybe an organization that you know of, perhaps competitors, perhaps not. I seek information on an organization named the Hounds of Hellatry. Have you heard of them?
Never heard of them.
Insight.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, if we're here for information, I'll try and see if I can.
10 for me. 10. My passive is 17. But the roll is gouged.
25.
25.
This was insight?
Uh-huh.
Natural 20.
Natural 20.
For a 21.
She has no idea what you're talking about.
It's good to know.
I heard
You
they
pick up a hint of irritation that she feels like her time is being wasted.
Well, is your organization in any way connected with the trade in people?
That depends where you want to go.
I seek someone who may have been taken by such people and wonder what routes they traverse and where I might seek such an organization. I heard the name Thugtree, the Sylvan Gulch. Is that what it was? Sylvant?
Sylvan.
The Stillman.
Stillman Gulch and Thugwater were locations that I heard were possibly involved. I drew a blank in Port elsewhere.
These places are worlds away from here.
I understand, and it is a long shot. I just figured that people in the trade, the kinds of trade that you obviously deal in, need to know about the other people in similar trades.
Your long shot missed.
Very well. What kind of item would you be interested in to answer my friend's question?
Items and their value are subjective.
So I'll shake the raven feather dart tattoo off my hand and place it on the desk. So it looks like a little full of dart quill. Does this have value to you?
It holds value.
Enough to...
Sell out one of my buyers? No.
Well, it's not selling them out so much as just letting us know where we might find them.
I would like to remind and refresh all of your memory. Well, not instill it on all of your minds that this isn't a matter of negotiation of value. If you offer me something and I deem it unworthy, it is unworthy. End of statement.
Nik-Nak will...
Hi. My friend's request. I might have something that you might like. Do you remember, if you've ever heard of him, which I'm sure you must have, Finkton? Finkton Manufacturing.
I'm aware of this name. A inventor of sorts from across the sea.
A brilliant inventor.
Hmm.
But he made a lot of funny things, but not all of them made it into mass production. But I might know of some things that he kept a little secret.
Technology is a passing fad. It will never live up to the might of the arcane. Any doodads and missigars are beneath me. End of statement. Next.
Well, I guess we'll just... I'm gonna still have like coins like rattled on the table when I was trying to like take this, and I'm gonna be like, well, I guess I'm gonna like look directly like at her. It's like, I'll be back for you. I mean, this is not the last you're gonna see of us. And I'll like grab all my coins from the table, maintaining direct eye contact, and then see if I can swipe any piece of paper while maintaining eye contact and like picking up coins and like a little like grab a little something.
If
Make
I
a sleight of hand check.
Can I insight check him to see if he's doing that?
Roll an insight check.
Nope.
It's less insight. Roll a perception check. Because you're not really like, it's not an emotion, he's physically trying to do something.
Probably also nope an 8.
I'm
Yeah.
going to, as I do that, the sword on my back, the little screw is going to, like, as it will slightly like slit open and the little eye will come up again, and I will use my channel divinity to give myself inspiration, and probably a little like maybe either a green eye or a brown purple eye will kind of like come from that spot, and I will re-roll that, giving me advantage at least on that for a 18 of a sleight of hand now.
You're like gathering up the coins, frustrated, like, keeping a close eye contact on her, and just in a bit of kind of flair for it, just sort of jostle and knock over a couple of things on her desk. And it's just enough, especially maintaining that
Like
eye
grab
contact.
her thing to you back, essentially. Like, yeah.
As you're grabbing things up in that sort of like indignant, well, I'm leaving sort of like method, and sort of grab things out. There's a faint rip as you rip a page out of that ledger and stuck it with the rest of your stuff, and she sort of just like rolls her eyes and scoffs a little bit.
We're leaving.
Takes a drag of the cigarette. Then leave.
Fine, I'll just pound, and just like look behind, and just like look at everyone like, Harry, come on!
I look at the others like,
And following.
suppose we draw a blank, but it was worth a try.
Yeah, she doesn't know anything. She's mean.
I'll check in with Slink.
You kind of like pop your senses into Slink and you're looking up at Harmony sitting at the edge of the bar as
I'm
she's
like,
looks very
Yeah.
indecisive.
So she's not where she was, just sitting at the table. She's obviously moved around.
I'm so stressed. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Jumping back, Harmony, what are you doing?
okay. I have some ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I'm immediately I know that I'm just going to say I think we might need to get upstairs for
No.
Harmony.
No.
So we will head out. I think. Yeah.
Okay, so after kind of think things through, I'm like, okay, calm down. Use some logic really quick. Like, she was obviously trying to meet somebody. She knew someone was coming. She looked nervous. Maybe that's because she knew they were a vampire, but they could be a good vampire. Not all vampires are bad. Okay, well, So then I'm gonna go. I never saw anybody enter the first room, right? I'm gonna open the door to the first room and just try to kind of look around, and if no one, especially the bartender at least, is not looking, I'm gonna slip into the first room and just look around really quick to see the layout.
You slip into the first room, close the door gently behind you. Slink, I'm assuming, kind of.
Slink is staying with Harmony unless Harmony says to do something else.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
just
that's
staying
fine.
So yeah,
right
Slink
next to
kind
her,
of
just-
slithers into the room behind you.
So
Close the
Slink's
door.
aware of what's going on, so when I check in, we have a sense of what's going on, so that if anything bad happens, we can book it.
Dark, other than like the moonlight kind of streaming in through the window. It looks to be some sort of like sitting room or something. Very bare, only like a couple like animal trophies on the wall, couple of chairs. You do see that there is a door that kind of is connected to the next room that Baron is in. Basically like what do you call them? Like adjoining suites at a hotel.
Yeah.
But it's clearly like closed and latched.
As in, like, it's probably locked and like locked on both sides kind of thing.
Yeah. But you do see like kind of like lights streaming in from underneath the door.
Okay. I'll try one more time to just put my ear next to the like bottom of that door where the little crack is. Just like, when I used to try to overhear my father in his like meetings with people just to see what they were talking about, even though I wasn't going to understand any of it. Do I hear, if not words, then like the tone?
Yeah, give me a perception check.
Natural 20.
Oh!
I'll do you one better. You kind of like get up close to the door, and it's not exactly like the Ritz-Carlton here. There's like it's just an old-timey wooden door there, and the closer you get to it, you see that there's like light streaming in from underneath it, but also through the little kind of like seams in between like the panels of the door, and you're able to kind of get a perfect like little keyhole view into the room.
Oh, that's much easier.
The room is empty except for two figures. Varen looking as beautiful as ever, her dryad heritage on full display, little leaves kind of growing out of her hair. She's practically dwarfed by the behemoth of a man next to her. The skin soft tan. You see that with now that you're in like kind of the room is lit by a small fireplace in that room. There's a hint of like red kind of gleaming in the man's eyes. But as he like kind of turns around towards her, finish like stoking the fire, getting it going, kind of turns to her. Varen, it's been a while. I can call you Varen, right? And she kind of like straightens up. For you, it is Professor Varen. Ouch. Such formalities. I'm a little hurt, Professor. After all we've been through, did I do something wrong? And she kind of like stiffens up again. Aside from the unholy atrocities? Oh, is that all? I thought you found out about some other stuff. Now I know you're a busy woman, so I'll cut to the chase. I'm gonna need you to open the door. What you're looking for, I do not have. Nobody does. What you're asking for is... Wrong answer, Prof. See, I know you got what I want. You're from the Fey. And I know you know how to get back there. See, me, I got all the time in the world, but the boss don't like to wait. So we can do this the easy way. And like a flash of lightning, his hand jumps out, and he only needs his thumb and forefinger to kind of close around her throat and kind of lifts her off the ground. Or we can do this the fun way. She kind of frantically claws at his fingers before kind of nodding, and immediately he drops her, holds his hand back. Hey, all right. Now it's a party. I'll give you a day to set things straight. I'll see you tomorrow night, Professor. And he kind of like bows a little bit, kind of like treats her like, even though she's gasping for breath now, kind of crumpled on the floor, he kind of just like nods, bows a little bit. Should get that looked at, and he kind of points to his neck and then to hers, and then kind of walks out. You see that now that she's kind of crumpled to the ground, there are 2 bite marks. Before he opens the door, lets himself out.
Do I know if the bite means anything? Like, does it affect? Is it she's gonna turn into a vampire or like something? You know what I mean?
What a weird looking hickey.
Yeah.
Give me a medicine check.
8.
8? You're not quite sure.
Through the door, I'm going to cast Healing Word on her.
Okay.
And if there's any sort of like intention, if it's possible to put an intention into like the spell, it would just be like a concern, friendly / came from this direction. Not trying to hide anything.
Yeah. She sort of like just kind of rubs at her throat a little bit before she clearly like the pain that she's trying to rub away is gone much sooner than she thinks, and kind of looks around the room. And as she kind of spies around the room, she looks towards the door that you know that you can see through and you're looking through. Before she kind of like spies something, and there's like a faint little like hint of recognition there before she just almost in a shameful way sort of like bows her head and tries to avoid any eye contact with you. I'll pick up there next time.
I was about to pop in on a vampire. Oh my god! I was like, we got plans. All right, how am I gonna get her out of there?
Yeah.
Wow. Thanks to you guys for joining us here at Tales of Terragia. We are back next time with even more vampires, probably. And until then, don't mess with the glitz and glower because they're going to set 3 very horny goblins on you.
Oh no!
Yeah. That's right.